from my daddy. I feel nice, you look nice. 널 보자마자 나 어머나 땡잡았어. Don't think twice, 이미 게임 끝났어. You be my curry, I'll be your rice.
But might have a little fight here before that even happens. Big solar flare coming up. Oh my god!
Oh my god! They're on top of everyone, and they're going in. Samir doing amazing things right there.
Hold up, wait a minute. 지금부터 선수끼리 밤이 아까워. Turn up louder.
Sasha's living.
He's the only one that's still alive. He doesn't even care. This is gonna be a game.
Roger kill!
Kill! We'll have to kill for high on Hippie.
Hey, where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy.
They're about to snowball out of control.
Where'd you get that body
Completely
from?
goes wide with the chain, but he still has ulti. It doesn't really matter. He's really low. He was so much over by Punch to save his life. Now Bounce will be getting pretty low here. He's gonna be able to save it. He's running on his house and secures the kill on Shu.
That's flash.
Flash on out of there. The spear might go down. Oh, don't get my Vermin there to clean it up. What? Great double kill.
I'm on fire. Take you higher. 넌 한폭의 명작. 난 아낌없는 buyer. Don't be a liar. 까고 말해봐요. I'll be your honey. Never expire.
Dire actually countered it. It's gonna be going in, getting stunned up by Camille. Zabel ults in, gets a lot of damage down. Mine's Dire trying to go back onto Blueprint, doing a little bit, gets the shield up. Zabel super low. Ultimate from Camille goes no way.
Oh my god.
Hold up, wait a minute. 지금부터 선수끼리 밤이 아까워. Turn up louder. 불타오르는 아름다운 그대여. How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now?
Hey, where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. I got it, got it.
Hey, where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. I got it, got it.
Hey, where'd you get that body from?
Aaron, but Dragon's already gonna go over to Ocean. A big elastic slingshot onto Mont Blanc, and Crack Variety is here. Laserbeam's gonna try and pick up Jamie, but it's not gonna be enough. Gramina is gonna get the return kill there. Not quite. And this is a huge team fight for Crack Variety. Such low health are he's going triple kill. Did we see a Quadra? He sees a Penta. Crack's daddy is Crack attack. He's in the Penta. Variety.
I got it from my daddy. Daddy. I got it from my daddy.
Val gonna be chunked down a little bit here. Comes the paranoia. Big shot. Oh my god, he's gonna go wide. He's gonna go wide. He's got the flashing from Pinkle Popper, and he's on a killing spree. This is the team fight.
Hello, 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 and welcome back, Rec League. My name is Darth Ted, and I'm joined here by Crack Variety for the first round of the losers bracket. We're here with Mountain versus Air. How's it going, Crack?
It's going well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal right now. I'm kind of looking forward to this matchup. I think it's going to be a good one, but unfortunately, right now, we're still waiting on one member of Air Drake to show up, so they will have till 4:30 per our playoff season rules. You can check that out on the Rec League website. And so they have a half hour to field a roster. And if they cannot, then unfortunately they will be forfeiting this one.
Yeah, you hate to see it in the playoffs. I would argue it'd feel worse to get to this point and then not even be able to play your game instead of like never making it.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And I mean, we always want to see more games played, and it is the best of one for your last lifeline. So, you know, you can see some really crazy cheese coming out, especially on a new patch like this, where the whole meta is shooken up. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we got some time to kill in the meantime.
Yeah. So, but we'll go through it. Yeah, we got a half hour to kill. We'll probably send it over to a timer after a little bit, but we're going to run through the lineups right off the bat for you guys. It's going to be a good one. We're excited for this. And let's just hit it up with the top lane. We got Mountain going to be on the blue side right now, and then Edge on the red side for this one. In the top lane, we got Delta Centauria versus VB Zobs up there. What do you think about this matchup?
It's really interesting looking at the stats here because on paper, I feel like Delta should be pretty heavily favored. VB seems to generally play things that just augment the team or facilitate team fights, as we can see some Ornn and some Gnar games. So I expect this, if we are able to hopefully play this game, to be a point of strength for Mountain, and for VB Zobs to just try to hold on and be relevant in the later team fights.
Yeah, we see VB Zobs plays a lot of tanky picks, which, as we saw last game, worked out really, really well for Mind's Desire.
Yeah, and that's kind of the game breaker, right? Is we're in the preseason, it's effectively League of Tanks, which in theory should favor what VB Zobs is trying to do. But that being said, or not even really a but, that we can kind of see that play out for how Mountain's drafts went in the best of 3 that we just watched, where it seemed like they were a little slow to adapt and react to the meta change, it seemed.
Yeah, that is fair. And, I mean, as you said before, Delta should have the advantage in his lane. And if he can put a tank super far behind on a pick like the Camille or the Renekton, then the tank's not going to be looking too great until he finishes 1 or 2 items. So they can try to pull pressure in that lane using Delta, but I think this matchup is really going to be decided by the jungle, which we're looking at right now. We got Dutch Clutch for Mountain and Colonel Paco, the Colonel Poppy himself for Air. Hit me up. What's this one going to be looking like?
It's going to be really interesting to see, particularly what Paco picks for this. You'd think that Poppy, I mean, looking at the win rates right now, Poppy has an insanely high win rate just using the tank items and how strong they are. So you'd think that Mountain is pressed to take that away, and where Paco falls on from there is going to be super interesting. I do think that Dutch Clutch has been more consistent, but Paco has definitely had pop-off games, and I mean, in a best of 1, that's all it takes.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm assuming the Poppy just gets banned right off the rip for it. Why give a person his favorite champion and the one trick?
Yeah, and combined with it being like insanely strong at the moment too, because that's the other kicker here is we don't know, and I'm assuming they don't know really how much practice people have on certain things that are viewed as strong right now. So do you ban power things? Do you just immediately go towards comfort, even if maybe, you know, they haven't seen it for a bit, or not quite in this case where the Poppy is very clearly strong, but if there's a comfort pick, say, that isn't super strong right now, like, do you still use a ban on that direction? So, and this kind of went away from a jungle conversation just to a larger draft conversation, but given that we already kind of touched on that jungle is going to be one of the swingier matchups and the determining matchups, how they prioritize the picks in draft is going to be super interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And the first games we had today, the only look we have on the patch as the Rec League, we saw the Amumu pickup being really, really strong. And also in solo queue, Amumu has quite a high win rate. Do you think we'll be seeing that at all this game?
I mean, I hope not, because that means that both teams didn't really do their homework. I don't think that you should let Amumu be picked right now, just straight up. It's crazy strong. It already fits with how the Rec League wants to play, where you just have like some big beefcakes that are starting fights on a whim. And the real kicker is he's not even really particularly hard to play, right? You just hit the one skill shot and he kind of does the rest himself. He just soaks up the damage and dishes out a ton. So if it isn't banned, it should be picked pretty highly. but I don't anticipate it being left on the board, especially since Mountain just got dumpstered by 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how Dutch Clutch comes against Colonel Paco. And again, I think the Poppy is going to be the main thing getting banned right off the rip. But we can swing on over to the mid lane now. We got Cop versus Hi I'm Hippie. And Cop in those first series looked a little bit sleepy there. Maybe a little late wake up before the games, and kind of didn't seem to play very well. But Hippie's been absolutely popping off in the mid lane. So how do you think this one's going to go?
Yeah, not to be shady towards Cop at all. I love him, but he kind of got exposed in that last series, it felt. And Hippie in particular is somebody that we've seen can have some really strong performances. Granted, that was preseason patch hitting, so whether or not that translates super well, but Assassins are also fairly strong, with Dustblade being pretty insane, and we've seen Hippie break those types of picks out before. I believe he played the Zed. So I think if Cop is pushed off of a tank, like the Galio, or, I mean, he has the Nunu game, so Nunu's also very strong right now. If he's pushed onto something that's a little squishier and is a main source of damage, I don't see this game going well for Mountain. That said, if they are able to prioritize him and get him a tanky pick that can just kind of neutralize lane and live through Hippie's pressure, then we're going to see a very different game. And hopefully that's Mountains recognizing that that's their avenue to success.
Yeah, we also saw Hippie pulling out the Tristana pick and other AD carry picks, so I'm curious if they do put Cop on a tank, how that sort of high pressure, high tempo lane could go into it. Because, I mean, we heard from Covert Panda that AD carries just aren't strong right now. But what if you put an AD carry in a solo lane and give them all the farm?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that. I don't think it solves the problem that they identified of AD carries right now with their mythic items not really doing a whole lot. They need to hit 2, in a lot of cases 3 item spikes before they're even close to relevant. So I think you welcome that if Hippie's picking that Trist. Like, yeah, he's going to have wave pressure, and he might get a kill here and there. But at the end of the day, if Cop's on some kind of big, dumb beefcake that can just be more relevant later in the game, it doesn't matter, because the Trist is, like, the items are not on her side on this patch.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so looking to get Cop off of tanks if you're on the Airdrake side. All right, so swinging over into the bot lane, we got Knifeu Cat versus Rise at Dusk. And, I mean, Knifeu Cat we've seen have plenty of pop-off performances in the Rec League so far. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, admittedly, I don't know a lot about Rise at Dusk, and I'm assuming you're kind of in a similar boat there. But
yeah,
something that really stood out to me from Mountain Krugs was almost like a level of disrespect in how Knifeu was playing, in regards to like how quickly the enemy team can close the gap on him and punish him for some aggressive positioning. So hopefully that's being recognized and played around. Like, that's always tough if you're an aggressive player to walk that line between like pressing an advantage and just kind of inting. So to that end, maybe something with a little more mobility, and with maybe, if you're not getting the mobility, then a little bit safer range. Like, Kai'Sa can be good, and I know this is going back to last series. Like, Kai'Sa can be good, but if, you know, there's just a bunch of tanks that can close that gap, and, you know, she can only reposition 1 or 2 times, it's not really going to matter how much damage she can dish out. So I'd like to see, I mean, ideally prioritizing the Samira, given that we've seen him absolutely pop off, and it seems, I mean, not even seems, it's really strong right now. And if that's off the table, then I don't know what his champion pool is, but I know it was talked about. Maybe expand to some mages in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Knife play a good amount of Senna, and Covert Panda looked really, really good on it, being able to heal up and support those tanks. So that could be a good pickup for Knife. And again, like you said, Rise at Dusk, fairly uncertain, but does play Jhin, and we know that from some previous games in the Rec League. So Jhin is, I think, top 3 AD carry right now.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see if any mages were pulled out for them.
And I welcome that. It seems really, really strong, especially if you like one with really strong lane pressure. Yeah, it seems like a very easy way to abuse the League of Tanks.
Yeah, definitely. And now swinging into the support role, we got Timberland versus CLG Worthy Dust. The slide that was accidentally shown previously. My bad on that again. But both of these supports are fairly aggressive and love their hook champs. What do you think we got?
I hope that we end up with the fun double hook lane. What I'm guessing is there's a good chance of happening is Morgana being pretty highly prioritized, probably on the side of Timberland. We've seen him play it before, but that was in solo lanes. But knowing Worthy Dust's preferred champ pool of just start fights and be able to CC, coupled with the fact that we saw Naifu getting caught a few games last series, it just makes a whole lot of sense to pick something that guarantees some safety.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the Alistar did look pretty good for Timberland, right? He had some really nice engages, some really nice disengages, but it seemed like Mountain was just on the back foot the entire time during both of those games. And it's hard to play support role when your entire team's behind.
Yeah, particularly a champion like Alistar too, right? If you're on something like Blitz or Thresh, then you can be behind, but you can still randomly swing a fight by getting a good hook. With Alistar, you're relying on the rest of your team being able to really follow up on your engages super hard, and your peeling is like fine, but there are other champions that if that's your priority, you can pick, I guess, better peelers. So if they're going to pick the Alistar, then they got to make sure that they push that tempo and make sure that people can follow up on the Alistar engage.
Yeah, that's fair. And speaking about that, them falling behind, that was one of the big ways Krugs was able just to steamroll over Mountain in those previous two games. How do you think that's going to go for Mountains this time around? Do you think that the lanes are going to be just overwhelmingly snowballed in the favor of Air, or do they have more of a fighting chance in this one?
For sure, more of a fighting chance, right? And the stats should back that up. Krug's laners have been really strong thus far, and Airs have been fine. Honestly, these teams feel very similar in that regard, where they're not going to snowball over anybody in lane super hard outside of like 1 to 2 lanes, looking mostly at Delta in the top and Hippie in the mid. But yeah, I anticipate this not following that same trajectory, and probably will be, a 30-35 minute team fight that lasts like 3 minutes because both sides have like 2 giant beefcakes that can't die.
All right, sounds good. So I just want to get a quick prediction from you. Who do you think's taking this if we actually get into the game? Is it Mountain or Air? Who is stronger on paper right now?
Coming in, I thought that Air felt favored in this, and that was kind of backed up by the series we just saw. That said, I do think that there's something... The mental on Air, having somebody show up very late if they do show up, that you can't dismiss that, right? Like, there's going to be some, like, I don't know, some discomfort or some maybe rust or just, like, too much time to think. Like, I don't know, akin to, say, icing a kicker, right, in a football game, of just, like, now there's all this time to think about it. And that can be beneficial for, say, Mountain, where they can take this time and kind of think back on, like, all right, well, we just got kind of clapped on 2 games in a row. Like, let's really make sure that we're prepped going into this. Whereas Air Drake, it's, probably the forefront of their mind is our player going to show up?
Which, as of right now, I'm going to put a little bit of a timer on stream. We got 10 minutes and 40 seconds to keep talking.
Right.
Yeah, we got a lot. All right. So, yeah, as you were saying, the mental behind Air, I think, could have been an advantage if this game started on time, because Mountain coming off of a really, really decisive 2-0 just feels so bad, because it just shows that you, A, didn't have the right read on the patch, and B, you just were not prepared at all for Krugs. And, I mean, granted, Krugs played out of their mind, but there were plenty of mistakes from the side of Mountain that Krug was able to capitalize on. And only having a hour and a half window between the last game and your next game to be able to fix those feels pretty bad.
Yeah, for sure. I do think it's worth noting, though, that it didn't feel for most of those games that it was so much an execution gap. Like, there were plenty of fights, particularly in the early to mid-ish game, that Mountain did a really good job in and took some really nice engages and were able to take advantage. I look at those games as more as just a complete misread on champion strength right now. Those drafts, giving over 2 to 3 tanks that are top tier every single game, like you can't do that and expect to win. That's the problem there. When, on the other side you're picking medium things, and yes, they're comfort, but they're just not as strong as other things you could be doing.
That's fair. And talking about, you said top tier tanks. Who do you think are the strongest champs in the meta right now?
So it kind of goes two ways. There's like the League of Tanks side of it, where you have a Mumu, you have Cho'Gath, Poppy's up there, Sejuani's pretty strong. Pretty much any tank that has a decent amount of damage already built in, where you can take advantage of going Sunfire into, in a lot of cases, Demonic Embrace, where you can just kind of stack both of those things repeatedly. On the flip side of it, there is the Assassin route, and I would love to see one of these two teams go for it, where Kha'Zix is really strong right now with Duskblade. I think Pyke as well is like in a pretty decent spot, given that you can just chain those ults pretty effectively when you go invisible after using it. Nope.
Yeah, sorry, I have to remake the lobby. Apparently there's
no
a
worries.
40-minute cooldown on how long you can have the lobby open. But yeah, so
Yeah.
How do you think Ornn fits into the meta then? Because he's always been a staple top lane, a top-tier top laner for the Rec League, who's really strong, has a lot of CC, and a lot of built-in damage to his kit.
I think he's still good. I do think that other champions that do AP damage tanks are what is crazy strong right now, off the back of, like I said, Sunfire and Demonic Embrace, but Ornn definitely still is good and should be worth picking if that pool gets pinched a little bit, or if that's what you're comfortable on as far as a tank goes, because at the end of the day, the tank items are still, as far as like cost to benefit, you're getting so much from the gold you spend on them.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see, because the champions you mentioned, like the Pyke and the Kha'Zix, are pretty favored by Air. I know Colonel Paco played a lot of the Kha'Zix earlier, and I cannot invite anybody to these games.
Oh, weird. Yeah, my client's bugged out. I'm just going to log.
Yeah, I'm going to have to restart it. Sorry about that. It might not matter anyways. But we'll see. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Air Drake kind of drafts into that. If they want to go for more of the assassin-y, very, very fast, kill you a lot meta versus the League of Tanks that we saw in the previous games.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that, like, if those are the two strong things, which of the two then is naturally favored against the other? And like, a tank's going to beat up an assassin 9 times out of 10, right? They can't pop him, and then once your cooldowns are on cooldown, the tank can take advantage of the fact that their items now do a ton of damage.
Hey,
The
thank you,
one-
Sable.
Nice, Sable. The
Sizable.
one... Oh, sorry. Correct. No. That was scrubbly on my part. The one game breaker and one champ I really want to see starting to get picked are, like, the mages that are tank melters. Like, a Cassiopeia seems crazy strong if there is somebody that plays it in this lobby. I haven't done enough research, to be completely honest, so I don't know. But that feels like a really strong way to counteract the League of Tanks.
All right, sounds good. And lobbies remade for everyone, so we'll be still waiting the 5 minutes to see if Rise of Dusk is going to show up or not. So we'll stay tuned for that. But yeah, as you were saying, the tanks seem to be favored over assassins just by the nature of the champions, right? But I think that if, someone like a Kha'Zix pick can get off in snowballing really, really early into the game, you can kind of put enough pressure down and you cut through the tanks really early on to be able to build up enough pressure to just snowball. So that's probably the one way around beating up 4 tanks on a team. Just crush them early.
Yeah, and I think that's totally valid. And it goes back to the conversation we were having earlier when we looked at each matchup as far as where draft is prioritized for each team. Because if that's your plan and you want to pick that Kha'Zix, you need to... that needs to be your game plan going in, right? You need to probably pick that later in the draft. Your bans need to be centered around that, where the tanks that are being picked do take a little bit longer to scale up instead of something that can fight pretty early on and still be beefy.
Yeah, that's fair. But we got 3 minutes left. It's not looking too good for Airdrake right now. Still no word from their 5th member, which is unfortunate. And they have one player who could fill in for them on the roster, but Dainty Taco is currently not in the country, so
Oh shit.
they do not have a sub that can actually fill in for them, which is unfortunate. So yeah, we're just gonna be waiting out this timer. And Crack, how's your day been? How you doing?
You know what? It's been pretty good. I got to clean the apartment a little bit, which was a little overdue. Got a little bit of work done, and now I'm hanging with you and I'm drinking some mimosa, so life's pretty good.
Hell yeah. My fiance is downstairs right now making some shepherd's pie, and I'm just receiving whiff after whiff of it coming up the stairs. It's really nice.
That sounds super good.
I like the transitions in food between fall and winter, going from nice last minute grilling using a lot of apples and apple sauces into doing more type of chili and baked goods. It's just,
Get some stew going. Is it cold out there right now?
It's 40 outside. It's been rainy all week. It's kind of not nice. How's it on the West Coast?
It fluctuates. So at night it actually is 40 degrees, which kind of sucks, especially now that I'm a spoiled LA boy and I'm not used to the cold anymore like I once was. But there's this weird thing where our apartment traps the cold so much more effective than anything else. And so it's freezing in here, and as soon as you step outside, it's it's 60 degrees.
That's interesting. Are you on the first floor, or is it just...
Yeah, technically. There's a parking underneath us, but
Gotcha.
Effectively the first floor.
That makes sense then. I always like being on the top floor apartment because A, don't have to hear any footsteps above you, and B, wintertime you just don't have to... Ooh! What?
Oh, man, he just wanted to,
Hey,
bring
we
the
got
drama.
it! Holy crap. Well, let's let them organize their aim positions. All right, we're just going to send this one.
The master of
Yeah.
theatrics, this guy.
Well, then, we are not getting another resident sleeper meme. One might think he did it on purpose.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to put the drama.
All right, let's go. Let's get the show on the road. Everybody's been waiting. Well,
Go.
we got 1 hour.
Get 2.
All right.
All
And
right.
there we go. Getting into Champ Select. I didn't think it was going to happen. Pretty sure all of Twitch chat thought it wasn't going to happen, but we're here. We're ready. And
Hopefully
I turned
they-
my volume off.
Hopefully they remember whatever plan that they were talking about.
Seems you left your brave pants at home.
They remember. They banned the poppy.
While you go get them?
It's a good start. Good start to this. Yeah, but that was I don't even know what to say right now. I'm still flabbergasted. But we got the Camille pick or ban coming out against Delta. Super smart. Such a strong laning champion. And again, Delta is 4-0 on that champ. So really smart to get that out.
Yeah, and it pushes him towards the Renekton, which we've seen kind of falls off. Which the Camille way less so. And if Delta isn't going to be picking a tank, then you know, you want him on something that just doesn't really matter as the game goes on.
True. And we see the Ornn ban. We were talking about that a little bit. VB Zobs plays quite a bit of it. Super strong tank right now. And a Samir ban against Knife of Cat. Taking away that pick that you were talking about.
Yeah, and that's smart. And I'm really interested to see
Let me get in there.
how they adapt as a result. And ooh, the Triss ban, the respect for that game.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw Hippie pop off on it, right? Being able to reset kill after kill, getting a quadra kill to end the game earlier against it. I think it was Bramble in season 6 or week 6.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, and the respect Galio ban for Cop.
I think
So-
that's just super smart.
Yeah, getting him
I would
off
love-
a comfort pick.
I would love to see a Mumu or Cho'Gath come through here. I have my doubts that it will, but
If it gets, ooh, a Malphite. Okay.
that makes sense if you are looking through the lens that VB is likely to fall back onto Gnar, with that being like a pretty good matchup for the Malphite. As far as tanks go, it is a little linear, but I think that's not a big deal. We see the Annie come through. Interesting.
Yeah, so most likely going to be for Hippie. In the Amumu pickup for Colonel Paka, getting through champ select like you didn't want it to.
Yeah. I at this point, I don't know. Air has to, or not Air, Mountain has to have something special lined up, because I just see a Mumu and the damage speaks for itself. When you see repeated clips of people at like 20 minutes without even being fed like 2 items and being able to solo Baron, it's not okay.
Yeah, but the Ramus does get through for Dutch Clutch, who I think he's been spamming this on his OP.GG. It was banned against him in game 2, the only game he really played today, so we'll get to see it coming out. And we get a brand coming out, either for Cop or Timberland.
Yeah, I like the picks on paper. I think the order of the picks is a little odd. Rammus seems really good when you know what their primary carry is and how mobile they are. Because as of right now, you're going after the Annie, and if the Annie is competent, they can just stun right before the Rammus gets to you. So they might be kind of, forcing themselves into a strong champion, but not the right team comp to pick into it.
That is fair, but yeah, again, what Endo was saying, Air picks 2 kind of tanky AP champions, and they pick a Rammus into it, which feels a little bit bad. But with the Gnar on the other side, it feels a little bit better for him. We get a Leona ban against Timberland, not giving that go in button, and a Thresh ban against Worthy Dust, something we're very, very used to.
Yeah, at this point, you kind of just have to do that. He performs pretty much every time. I'm really curious to see what Mountain chooses to pick for their bot lane, because we saw have Cop be the primary damage with the brand, and on paper it's a great pick, but there were some issues with positioning that we saw come up with just stepping just a shade too close and getting caught out, and then all of a sudden you can't really win the fight because you're relying on the brand to do so much.
Yeah, but we saw the power of tanks, so having 2 Sunfire Capes is going to do a lot for the side of Mountain. And the brand ultimate layered on top of a Malphite ultimate can do so much work in these team fights.
Oh,
if you can
100%.
actually, hit all 5 members. But we see a Cenaban against Knife, not giving that Comfort 80 carry, and a Shen pickup for VB Zobs in the top lane.
Oh, probably Worthy Dust, right?
Were they dust? Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Nara's already picked. You are correct, sir.
Oh, and the Karthus bottom. I'm a fan. What I would love to see here is some kind of like, I mean, really like a Pyke or a Pantheon, just to have some AD to try to keep him a little honest.
Is it a brand support? Karthus mid, maybe?
Maybe. I'm not a huge fan of that.
A Kennen. What?
Right, so
Oh,
it's probably Kennen brand bot with Karthus mid. Or maybe it's Kennen mid? Who knows?
could it be Malphite support?
With Kennen top.
Kennen top, maybe?
Yeah, the more I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm inclined to think that the brand is likely mid.
I don't know. We'll find out in a bit, though. This is very interesting. The Shen Jin bot lane has so much lockdown from the side of Air. And you know CLG Worthy Dust will be playing very aggressive. But unfortunately for him, the auto attack block just doesn't work against a Karthus brand. So it might be a very smart pickup. And we have a Kennen top and Malphite mid against Annie, which is... I'm not sure it'll go very well for Cop, but at least he'll be tanky enough to survive it.
Yeah, I think he just takes his lumps here and waits till he's 6.
Mm-hmm.
The
Wow,
one problem is that they're forced to try to fight the mid laner, because I don't really see a world where Cop gets prio mid at any point. And so, in theory, right, you'd want to try to help the Karthus brand where you just have a ton of damage and a lot of carry potential. And so, where something like a Galio would traditionally be where the Malphite is, you can shove and then immediately roam to the bot lane. That's going to be a lot harder to do to amplify this damage. So, I expect Dutch Clutch to hover around mid lane to try to get a pick or even just a summoner to make Annie play honest, and then for them to focus their attention down into the bot lane.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'm just... Do you think we're going to see an AP Kennen or AD Kennen for the top lane? So I really want to say AD, but then again, with this Wombo, AP Kennen works so well in these team fights. But the issue on that is if you go AP Kennen, you have no AD threat, and you have a tank Nara, tank Mumu, tank Shen who could just all stack magic resist, and if they don't fall behind, then Mountain really just doesn't win team fights at that point.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. The flip side is if you build AD Kennen, then you're playing AD Kennen, and that's just kind of ass. So I do think he'll end up going AP, and what they're likely banking on is just having so much of it and so much Magic Pen that it doesn't really matter if they stack MR. The brand can rip through. He'll probably get the true damage stacking item. And if you're going AP Kennen, then you can really build a similar way and just have your ult act very similarly to a brand ult where you're just ripping through their magic resist. And at that point, if they layer Kennen ult with brand ult, the Karthus can be back in spawn and just immediately press R, and that should be a one team fight.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, as far as team fights go, you really only have to deal with 2 threats of the Jhin and the Annie. The Gnar will be, formidable, but it's not going to be putting out too much damage since you have a Malphite and a Rammus being able to frontline that. So it's gonna... I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see how this one plays out.
You just touched on a really important point of the damage that Air Drake has is a little low. That's kind of buoyed up by the fact that Amumu is still going to do a ton of damage. But Jhin into Malphite Rammus is that's not the best thing you want to be doing. So the Annie's going to have to do a lot of work to carry this. But that being said,
they have an Amumu though.
Yeah, going back to it, we just touched it. There's a Mumu here, and he'll build full tank and still do 10,000 or not 10, 100,000 damage.
Yeah, he was basically... I mean, the Amumu last game was basically one-shotting people and it was a little disgusting to watch. And while we're in the break, I flipped open my phone, went to Reddit, and I watched a video of basically 5 tanks just standing around Baron Nashor with Balmy Cinder items, and they just took it without auto attacking once. It was really funny. I suggest going to Reddit and watching it. It just sat there and Baron was doing nothing to him. Oh, it was bad.
I'll have to find it after this game.
All right, but we're going to
Yeah.
be getting into it pretty soon. Timer is down. Mountain versus Air. Half hour late, but it's happening. Apologize to Gromp and... Who's Gromp's opponent? Ooh, I should
Infernal.
know this. Infernal, yes. Gromp and Infernal, your game's going to be a little bit late. We apologize, but rules is rules.
I mean, I don't think you have to apologize.
Oh,
Looking at you, Rise, it does.
that is fair. We're going to be getting into it. Losers bracket round 1 on the table right now. Mountain on the blue side, Air on the red side. We'll see how it goes. All right, what do you got for early game prediction? Where's the action going to be happening?
Most likely the bot lane and the top lane. The top lane will... That's going to be super scrappy with 2 ranged ones. They're going to try to poke each other out, and it's... The onus is kind of on Delta to just be on top of the disengage when BB Zops tries to jump in on him. That being said, I don't think, like, having watched both of these players and played against both these players, I actually anticipate BB Zops playing a little more passive. So, really it's going to be Air's bot lane in particular forcing the issue, and how well the Mountain bot lane can disengage and just continue to farm up.
Sorry, I'm just watching the Malphite recall right now. The FPX skin in the mid lane. It's looking sick.
Fireworks. I do appreciate both mid laners having a respectful dance party.
Yeah, no. Annie not taking advantage of that range. It's they had a nice friendly chat, by the way, in the pre-game when they were just waiting for Rise of Dust to show up. Everybody was just talking about their favorite pizza and quoting Step Brothers. It was a pretty good time.
It was. We learned that Timberland has bad taste in pizza.
Oh yes, we did. What was it?
Told him
Pineapple
when
and
he
chicken?
revealed to the... No, he said pickle pizza with ranch dressing. And it like hurts me to even say those things in that order.
Yeah, that's a little rough. But we got some interesting juggle pathing. Amumu starting on the top side, getting help from BB Zobs, and Rammus on the bot side. So it gives pressure to the Kennen and to the Shen and Jin. But I think if you're Brand and Karthus, you're okay getting shoved in right here.
100%. Yeah, it's mostly just... If they can keep the lane at this exact spot for most of laning phase, that's an absolute win for them. Granted, they have to farm the wave up. That's kind of the kicker there, right? Is right now we're already seeing a CS gap developing.
Yeah, and honestly, Karthus auto attacks under these turrets is going to be a little bit hard for him to hit. He's getting... no, he's got most of them. Yeah, there it goes. All right, 8 to 9.
Right,
Not
right,
that bad.
right. Preemptive shade.
Ooh, but engaged on the bot lane. Shen just going in onto Timberland, going down super low. No heal and first blood for Rise at Dusk right there. Worthy Dust putting his namesake down.
Yeah, kind of how we saw it coming in, right? Air Drake's bottom lane is going to force the issue whenever they can. It's worth noting too, that was only level 2, right? So this is just going to continue to get scarier as those laners scale up and their abilities get more and more levels into them and the damage goes up.
Yeah, and we saw it last time as well. Game 1 versus versus Krugs. Mountain just kind of disrespecting the level 2 all in from the bot lane, and you see it again. They just get all in, and it's not great. It's not a good look. Cop taking tons of damage in the mid lane, though. Haim Hippie going in, getting those auto attacks down.
Yeah, and that is an actual CS gap that's developing with You know, Cop is going to be able to catch a bunch of these as it comes towards the turret, but, I mean, for instance,
Ooh, maybe not.
one of
Paco's looking.
those melees is instantly dead. Oh!
Never mind. Gank in the top lane. We missed that one, Delta, but well played from Dutch Clutch right there. Being able to sneak in onto BB Zobs, blowing the flash. And Cop going down, actually. Ignite on. He's going to burn to death.
Yeah, it's early and it's only 2 kills, but the pressure that's coming now as a result, like this wave. Oh, but we see Dutch Clutch trying to bring this back. Nice flash over the wall.
Hippie flash. Yeah. Well played for him to get out of that one.
Wait, I think I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm at 425. Timberland catching out Colonel Paco, but flashes out of that one. Roms is here, but so is Shen. We're getting a fight. Colonel Paco going over the wall, getting the stun down. Taunt is down, but Dutch Clutch doesn't have damage. Heal comes out. Colonel Paco going super low, but gets picked up by the Karthus, who now has blue buff. They're looking for more on this one. Shen in a bad spot, has to flash away. Jin has force shot, but he's able to walk out. And both junglers going 1-for-1.
The blue buff ends up on Karthus, though, which is a huge deal for him to try to farm with the turret.
Yeah, just farming in general. So do you think that's a win for Mountain or for Air right there?
Oh, for Mountain. I think anytime that Mountain can trade 1-for-1, they're kind of favored. Particularly if, well, let me correct that. If it's a 1-for-1 trade and the bot lane's involved, where the Karthus and the Brand are getting gold.
All right, and gold is actually pretty even right now, even though there is a kill lead in the favor of Mountain. Or sorry, in the favor of Air. And it really stems from this gold lead in the top lane. Delta just getting a sizable CS lead over VB Zobs. And we're seeing gank coming in from the mid lane. Colonel Paco looking for Cop, who's stepped up. Colonel Paco doesn't have flash though, so might not be able to catch him. Although does have boots. Oh, good flash from Cop, avoiding the bandage at the last second.
Yeah, really well done.
Kennen teleporting down the bot lane though, getting a double stun with the ultimate, and so much damage being put down. Picks up one, Knifeu getting the second, and that is how you get your bot lane ahead.
Nice map awareness there to really turn this. That's going to be gigantic, and might be the turning point if we look back on a Mountain win. Being able to get this Karthus some gold and some lane safety more than anything else.
Yeah, it does mean that Delta gives up a little bit of pressure in this lane, but VB Zobs can't actually get the turret. And
Well,
that
that's
was
the thing, right? Is he gave up pressure, but he's going to get back to lane, and the farm is going to be about even now. Like the bullying he did earlier, he was afforded to roam that aggressively.
Yeah, it was, again, really, really nice from Delta. And VB Zob's actually hopping under turret. It's gonna be a little bit bad for him. We'll just take a little bit of poke. Delta has flash, though, while VB Zob's does not. Dragon goes down for Karthus. And this fight's still going on in the top lane. Stun might come out. One more will do it. Unfortunately, cannot connect with the E. So, VB Zob's able to walk away.
Yeah, and he still has his TP up, so he can TP back to lane and immediately and be able to take control of the lane, given that Delta is at half health.
We see this Mummy sipping around mid lane, looking to try to find Cop out.
I don't know if that's the lane he wants to be attacking, to be honest.
It isn't, but it's the lane who is currently attacking. Cop with no TP. Bandage Toss misses, though, but Tabor is just doing all the work. Don't even need the Mummy there.
Yeah, who needs skill for skill shots? Throw down bears.
And again, we see in the bot lane just Rise of Dust and Worthy Dust putting down so much pressure, shoving up the turret, and just trying to force Karthus to farm.
But this is exactly what he wants, right? Like before, the problem was they would push into the turret and then be able to pressure him when he was trying to farm there. That's how we got that pick on the Brand at level 2. But now at this point, they're just shoving and then walking away. And that's exactly what the Brand Karthus lane wants to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, what else can they really do? They got TP'd upon. You don't know where the Rammus is. It's very, very hard for you to actually step up. Because the Karthus wall, now that it's leveled up, can put down so much gank potential. And we have Shen actually going in. The W is not up, so no root from Rise of Dust, but They do stop the back, and Karthus is currently out of mana.
Yeah, I really want to see Paco putting a little extra pressure on the bot lane. Like, we can already see right there in just the 2v2, Worthy Dust can engage at will.
He's
right?
putting pressure in the mid lane, though, going in onto Cop, but Cop just ults away. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, it's all good. Yeah, and there will be an opening mid now with that ult being down, and so now going back there is correct, but Cop is just too beefy, I think, to really take advantage. Like, we've seen him die twice, but in all honesty, the jungle pressure only really mattered on one of those two. The other was just the Annie dumping enough damage. Coupled with the fact that he could be behind in gold, he's still a Malphite, right? He's an R-button bot as the game goes on. Where you really want to pressure is where there's a ton of damage coming from, and they also don't have a lot of peel. A Karthus wall is not going to do anything to stop an Amumu bandage.
That is fair. And, I mean, you can say that the further and further into the game, the Karthus gets stronger, but at the same point, there's going to be a lot of MR stacked on the side of Air. So I'm not sure the Karthus will have enough damage to actually be able to push through that. But we're getting a TP in, Shen ult coming in, getting a double taunt down. Dutch Clutch is running away. Tibbers is already down. Amumu's here, flashing forward, missing the bandage toss. Karthus ult across the team. Worthy does take another tower shot. Will go down. Way to stay alive, Cop and Dutch Clutch.
That Karthus ult did so much damage.
Yeah, and he picked up an extra 2 Dark Harvest stacks for himself. So he's going to be doing more and more damage as this game progresses. Just infinitely stacking that.
Yeah, we see Brand threw an ult down bot lane to try to pressure the Jhin off and get a little bit extra farm. But, yeah. Now Paco's roaming towards the bot side, which I think is a really smart adaptation.
Yeah, but is it a little bit too late?
I mean, fair. It might be, especially given that both
Getting
flashes
gank
are
coming
up.
in mid, Malphite going in with the ultimate flash away, but into the taunt from Dutch Clutch. And Cop getting a kill right there. It looks like they're trying to pinch this Mummy. They see him coming down. He's on a pink ward. Roms is here. Brand is stepping up. Roms goes in, finds the taunt onto Colonel Paco. He also gets taunted up. Worthy Dust is going on to Cop, trying to keep him alive. Colonel Paco backing away. And looks like everyone just kind of doesn't want to continue this fight. Paco is trying to get away, but the Q comes forward. Brand Q misses. Dutch Clutch runs into some minions, and that is a good disengage.
Yeah, a lot of flashes got burnt there, though. Yeah, only the top laners and Karthus have their flash right now, so this dragon fight, assuming that they still try to actually fight over it and one side just doesn't give, or one side chooses to give it up, that's going to be a lot of kills coming down with no disengage for either side, really.
And it looks like Air Drake are just going to go straight for it, starting it on a ward, though.
Yeah, it was interesting. It read very much like Mountain had a path to it, and at the very least, they could have gone up and swept out any wards. But opting instead to reset and
Teleport coming in from Kennen. We're getting a fight. Dragon does go down. Knifeu gets a slow on, but big Annie ult on the backline, able to take out 2. Kennen is in the fight, though, able to pick up 1 for himself. He has to run away, goes down, and that is a double kill for Karthus on the back side of things. Overall, a 2 for 3 in favor of Mountain, but the Dragon does go over to Air.
yeah, it's one of those ones that's hard to call. Ultimately, like, whatever happens with plates right here is going to be really telling about who won this trade. Like, Ubisoft is getting some time to catch back up in the top lane. At the same time, Kennen's able to take the bot wave and kind of reset, so I don't know. Feels like a pretty even trade.
Yeah, but the one thing that we should point, getting the Ocean Drake away from the Brand and the Karthus is probably worth it for Air.
For sure.
Because
Yeah, particularly the Karthus.
yeah, the passive mana regeneration is just really, really nice for them. We're seeing a little bit of a setup right here. Shen's going in, gets the taunt down onto Karthus. E is set up, but they don't have damage to push through him. It's not a fight you want. And Karthus was a problem, but he gives a shutdown over. And now TLG Worthy Dust going back in onto Timberland, looking for more taunt. Root does come down onto him. One more auto attack does it, and that is a kill for Rise at Dusk. Double kill for him.
Really well played.
That's a Karthus thinking that he is unkillable. We have Colonel Paco actually walking in to Dutch Clutch, looking for the smite, but misses it. Malphite is here as well. Annie, this is going to be a 2v2. Annie going in. Shen taunt is coming up. I'm sorry for moving away. We haven't come down, taunted onto the Malphite going in. Cop getting pretty low. Is able to get the bandage toss. He's going super low. One more will do it, and he's able to pick up the kill. On the backside of things, VB Zob super low. Will not burn down, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a super close fight, but that Shen ultimate is coming in clutch. Worthy Dust playing out of his mind this game.
Oh, yeah. Putting his team on his back right now. And gold's even again.
That is. But you were saying earlier that an even gold favors the side of Mountain because they get to scale up with the Scarthus pick.
Yeah, the pressure's on Air right now to keep forcing this tempo down and trying to really, I think, just continue to hammer away at that bot lane. We've seen that in the 2v2, Air can effectively win that with the right taunt by Worthy Dust. So at this point, they have to be thinking.
And they're putting the pressure down. Paco going in onto Timberland, getting caught out, and that is another easy kill for him. Delta is here though. Didn't have to teleport in, it was already there. Doesn't have the ultimate, or has the ultimate, doesn't have the flash to get in. And Paco's able to get out with a flash.
A good roam by Cop up to the top lane to catch that wave.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get more action in the spot lane. We have 4 members here from Air Drake. Not looking to give this up. And Dutch Clutch just walking into the jungle. Or rolling in, I should say.
Yeah, that's bold.
Hey, Ramis go just super fast. You can't even catch him.
Yeah, we kind of saw right there of Air reading that bot lane is where you need to go. Even if they're going to win the 2v2, at that point, they have to predict, and they correctly predicted that Mountain was going to then send people to try to swing that matchup back into their favor. And so having the Mumu there before the Rammus and before the Kennen could get there on time, as we see a fight happening top lane.
Yeah, Cop just ulting in a full health VV Zobs, but it puts a lot of damage down, but not enough.
Yeah, that's where that 62 farm right now is kind of catching up with him. It looked like he might have been able to win that fight, but just not enough damage.
That was super clutch by Delta, being able to E away from the Tibbers as it was coming down. Avoids the Amumu gank and also gets the ultimate out of Annie. But he's going in. Rams is here as well, has the ultimate down, but gets stunned up by a nice W. Shen taunt coming in. The Delta's ultimate is down. Shen's going to go onto the Rammus. And Dutch Clutch now in a really bad spot. Tibbers is on the backside, I think, still looking for more damage. But now we have Timberland flashing forward, getting the ultimate down, but it isn't enough to save his jungler.
You need to ban a Mumu. Like that was just a Mumu coming in so strong right there. He got poked out a bunch and still was basically at full health.
Yeah, and going back in, looking for more. Brand going super low, gonna die. Now Knifeu Cat in a bad spot. Colonel Paco is just tanking up everything, sitting on top of the Karthus ult, which he doesn't even get the Dark Harvest stack off of Mumu. Champ is so strong. But now Cop wants more, gonna kill the Paco, who's 5-2, looking to be 5-3 right here. They have enough damage, but they baited CLG Worthy Dust to come in. Never mind, they baited themselves. CLG Worthy Dust is going in, gets a taunt, kill over to Jin. Cop trying to run away, do what he can. Gets rooted up by that snare, but yeah, stunned up by Annie. One more auto attack will do it. Not enough. Jin forward shot, flashing forward, gets it. Worthy Dust under the tower. They're taking a couple of shots. Dutch Clutch is trying to run away from Jin, and he gets pushed off. And wow, Air Drake looking so strong in these mid-game skirmishes. But Dutch Clutch still going in. The ultimate comes out. Sorry, teleport comes out, but Annie is absolutely melting Karthus on the backside. No ultimate to follow up. And that is just unlucky. So many members very low for Air.
Yeah, Mountain's starting to look desperate. That's kind of how that fight looked. They felt the pressure after that catch happened around the Dragon Pit, and I mean at this point you just have to like take a breath, give up some outer turrets, and just catch waves as they come. You're gonna give up dragons, you're gonna give up Herald, and that's fine. You just gotta make sure that you can actually be in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, they're slowly falling further and further behind. It was pretty even for them, but now the 3K, they're going to give up the first Infernal Drake on this Rift. Actually, no, they're not. They're looking for more fights. Give up what? Kennan's going to be TPing in, looking for more on the back line, ulting in, getting 4 members with the Malphite ult, and that is such a good fight for Mountain. They're cleaning up this one, killing Paco as well. 4-4-0. Let's go, Mountain.
I was wrong.
Oh my god, that is the wombo we were looking for. Crazy fight. Well played for Delta right there. Getting in behind, and the follow-up from the team was insane. Damn.
Really well done to recognize the positioning and the fight that they could take there. At this point, if you're air, you can't be bunching in a corridor like that when there's a Malphite on the other team, right? Like, they kind of gifted that engage over. And it was great. It was great on the side of Mountain to recognize and capitalize on it. I would hope that that circumstance doesn't really come up again, though.
Yeah, and it seems that VB Zobs has just kind of been playing his own game, his own farming simulator in the top lane, where he's put down a lot of pressure there, taking the turret, got on the Rift Herald, but
yeah,
Delta's just been doing so much work in the team fights.
That could be fine if you're building accordingly for that, but he went Chem Tank, which doesn't really make sense with a split push and being a big threat in the side lane. He's building for team fighting, but then never actually team fighting, so a little bit of dyssynergy going on there.
Yeah, he didn't actually have the TP up for that fight, so it does have it up now, but is with the team. And we're getting a 5v5 posturing right here. Annie getting put really low by Delta. That's so much damage being put down. Karthus ult will be enough, but they use the Malphite ult instead. And they're still continuing on this fight. I don't mind, they're backing off. Amumu is caught out though. Shen ult coming in. They know they don't have that big Karthus ult. And we're getting onto the Brand super low. Colonel Paco in the middle of things. Oh my god, a big team fight coming out for Air. Delta on the back line, going in, getting a lot of damage, but not enough. Picks up 1, is able to pick up 2. Wow, Colonel Paco's still alive though. The Mumu goes down. Now it's a 1v1. VV Zobs for his touch clutch. The Karthus gets the double kill with the passive, and that is a full ace for 4. Mountain barely coming ahead in that fight.
I didn't. So I just got to see the keystone that Paco took on a Mumu, and I think that that's why Air isn't able to push through with these fights a lot of time. There's a active not or a Mumu with Aftershock isn't really great because it's gonna proc immediately when you hit your bandage toss, and that's kind of it. You get that little burst and a little bit of tankiness. If we go back in that fight and he has Conqueror instead, where as he's just like soaking up all that damage and dishing out with the spinning thing, he's gonna last so much longer in those fights and dish out that Amumu damage that we see. So I don't know, that's something to keep an eye on as this game continues to drag forward, is that natural sustain that Amumu can get by going Conqueror isn't there right now.
That's fair, and I honestly don't remember what the Amumu in the previous games went. I should have checked on that. But if anyone's in Twitch chat from Krugs, please let us know. But might be some unfamiliarity with the champion or just unfamiliarity with the patch.
Yeah, and it's not like Aftershock is going to be actively terrible, right? It's not like he went, you know, Comet Amumu.
That'd be fun. Hey, you always hit your Comet if you land your bandage.
There we go, yeah. It's a guarantee. Mumutep, here we come.
And so right now we're getting, again, a lot of posturing around mid lane. These big wombo combo team fights are going to happen over and over again. Who do you think that favors?
For a big wombo combo, I mean, you gotta pick Mountain, right? The abilities they can layer on top of each other.
So
I think
if you're Air, then what are you supposed to be doing? How do you stop Mountain from being able to use their team comp properly?
Get some good vision in, particularly in like passageways, and we've seen the layering of Worthy Dust being able to like snap engage, combined with a Jhin being at super long range, can immediately pop somebody, particularly when the Karthus and the Brand are going to be very squishy.
And we're seeing a mid lane turret dropping for the side of Air, being able to take that one up after it was pressured pretty hard. And Colonel Paco's going in onto Dutch Clutch, but again, the entire Mountain team is right behind. Taunt onto the onto the Karthus though in the backline. We're getting another big team fight. Cannon ult is in the fight. Karthus ult coming across the entire member. They're able to pick up a little bit. Going down. Worthy Dust trying to do what he can, saving everyone. Actually, Mountain's going down. Their Cannon's not around for the fight. And they're able to pick up an easy 4 kills for 2. Delta is on the backside of things. Question mark pings come down. They do know where he is. And yeah, I'm sorry.
That's kind of like getting that pick, right? Is the goal of getting the pick is to split up all of these champions that work really well when they're bunched up and can layer their abilities together. So if Delta ends up on the side, that takes away a huge part of their group CC that they can layer on top of Malphite ult. Worthy Dust getting really low right there at the end.
He's still alive. He's good.
Calculated.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of the fight we wanted to see. Karthus got picked off away from the team fight, so he couldn't put down a lot of the damage after his passive procced, and they were able to just walk through the rest of the team, which is really, really good for Air. But again, we're at 25 minutes, and the gold lead is pretty much negligible at this point.
Yeah, it's looking like it's gonna continue to be that dragon stacking game. Maybe Baron is gonna be the next thing. We see that there are a bunch on Air on the top side, but they're not really pushing in vision right now. They're just kind of clearing camps.
Yeah, and honestly, the Baron take from Air isn't too quick, whereas you got a Karthus on the other hand who can just melt it. I'm not sure how fast Amumu does it with the new item changes. Apparently really quick, so maybe they do melt it. I'm not sure. But it looks like Mountain is going to be setting up vision around this Baron, looking for some picks. Amumu is on the opposite side of the map, though. And I think if Mountain knew that, they'd probably just start this one up.
Yeah, let's see if they... Doesn't look like there's any ward outside of the one by the wolf pit.
Oh, they're calling it. Yeah, Amumu... they kind of sniffed this out. He stopped his recall. It's going to be coming, but this Baron is already down to half health. Mumu is not going to be here for the fight. So wards come over. They see Mumu in the mid lane, and that goes down. Good call from Mountain to be able to pick that one up.
Yeah, great map awareness there to snap react and recognize that they can burst the Baron out like you were saying.
Yeah, Karthus just does so much damage to standing objectives like that.
And the game flips again. This just keeps feeling a seesaw where one team is able to press forward a little bit, but the other inevitably can answer back with something.
Hey, I would much rather have this type of game than what we saw with Krugs versus Mountain.
Agreed.
It's just a lot more fun, and who knows who makes it on. Like, this is your life, and both teams are fighting for it right now. If whoever loses is just completely out of Rec League, no chance of the mug. This highly coveted prize right here. Tastes like glorious water.
Drink out of my scrub cup.
But yeah, we're again, the gold lead is pretty close, almost negligible, and these Baron minions are doing a lot of work. There's not a lot of wave clear on the side of, or a lot of reliable wave clear, I should say, on the side of Air, so they're able to just kind of march down these turrets.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of keeping the cannon safe. With the Rammus kind of roaming in and out of there. I would like to see them get a chance to reset the top wave, but Seems like they're just taking the 2 turrets in the mid and the bot, which ultimately I do think it is worth, right? The ideal world.
Chrono Paco going in, finding Karthus out though. Knife in the middle of the fight is gonna go down to super low. Rise of Dust takes him out, and now we have Shadow coming down. Everyone is so low on the side of Air, but they're living for now. Oh, Delta is down. That's your main damage being taken out. Brand gonna go down as well. And that is a good base defense from the side of Air, only losing 1 for 3.
Yeah, that Malphite ult was a little sus. It was a great catch by Paco to find Naifu Cat and get that right angle for the bandage toss. It felt like Mountain had an opportunity to turn that fight though, but the Malphite ult only hit BB Zobs, I believe, which is not the target you're trying to hit.
Yeah, so a little unlucky right there, but again, Colonel Paco being able to find the Karthus in the middle of the team is so big for them. And there's no Zonias yet for the Karthus, which I think would still be a staple item you'd want to build on that champ.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, maybe the read here is that I don't know, doesn't want the armor, but even then. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing for that.
Yeah, I think even just picking up the stopwatch to have in these team fights would be big. But we're gonna get into another team fight right here. Infernal Dragon has spawned once again, and Chrono Paco's going in onto Timberland. The rest of the team is pretty far behind though, but he can just solo this guy out. Oh my god, so much damage right there. Naifu Cat trying to get into the middle of the team. Shen-Oh coming down onto the Kennen. Kennen just not being able to get into the backline to do damage really, really hurts Mountain's chances. And now we have 2 dead. Brand and the Dutch Clutch. Soon to be 3. And then the Kennen's getting chased away. That's 4 members. Air looking so dominant in these team fights.
Amumu looking dominant. He lived through all of it. Like 3 people, 3v1 still lives.
Yeah, and the fights that were looking really, really good for Mountain early on were the fights where Delta can get into the backline, pop his ultimate, and melt people. Having him sit with the team right now just feels like he's not able to get in and do anything.
Yeah, the problem that we're facing is like it's a no-win choice that they have to make, because the Mumu's at the point now where, as we just saw, he can both pop somebody and live through like a 1v3. So what choice can you make as the Kennen there? Like, do you try to flank and then look back and all of your like other carries, the Karthus and the Brand, are just dead? Or do you stick with the team and then the Jin's able to lock down people repeatedly, the Annie's able to throw down the Tibbers? Like, the Amumu scaling up feels like it's kind of breaking the advantage that Mountain was starting to build up.
Yeah, that is true. But again, it's still only a 1k gold lead, which isn't a lot at 30 minutes. The game is very, very even, and it's very close to call. We still don't have an Infernal Soul getting taken by either team right now. And the next fight is probably around this Baron objective, which will be up in about a minute.
Yeah, that is the one saving grace that Mountain has, right? We saw in the last Baron they can take that super quick. If they can just sniff out that Air's out of position a little bit, they might be able to just take it.
Yeah, we see VP Zob sitting in base, looking for... Oh, never mind. Coming out, going to bot lane to push that. And Air Drake walking up, looking to clear out this vision and secure Baron for themselves. They got a fast track into this top lane too with a big wave right here. But it looks like they're just going to try to secure this vision. Look for a pick, actually. Mumu's sitting in this, looking for Cop. He's going to walk forward. Rams is there as well. They do sniff it out. But Amumu going in onto Naifu, and he's just going to get melted, dead before the fight even happens. And that is your main source of damage. And it looks like Air is going to be able to take Baron pretty easily from this one.
Yeah, I don't know how much more we can say about the fact of Mumu just existing. Every time Air is getting what they want, it's off the back of a pick.
Yeah, but they're going to get a pick onto VB Zobs. He's stepping forward, and they do turn the team fight. Shen ult coming down. Cop going in with a good ultimate, but Kennen is not there to follow up. He's going in now, though. Gets the ultimate onto 3 members, blowing them up, going super low, almost taking them out,
Oh, wow.
getting 2 for themselves, and this is... They saved the Baron, so that's really, really good. And looks like Dutch Clutch wants to go in for more. Dodges the taunt. Karthus ult is coming up, though. They're going to be able to pick up 2, and VB Zobs is super low on the backside of things. They're looking for it. This Ramos is hunting him. Coming in. Doesn't find him, though. And, my God, this game is a heart attack waiting to happen. So stressful. We have the TP in from Karthus. Dutch Clutch and Delta are super low, but we see how fast they melt this Baron. They're going to have a TP from the Gnar on the backside. Doesn't have Mega Gnar, though. And they're just not even going to pay attention to him. Yeah, although Dutch Clutch is super low. If Gnar goes in, he might be able to pick up the kill. Looking for a little... Yeah,
Do it.
he doesn't.
Yeah, it's probably smart.
Yeah, probably smart. But again, second Baron for Mountain. And these team fights just swing both ways. And I don't know how this game is going to end. And it's so exciting.
Yeah. And especially as these death timers get longer, it's just the one right fight on the right side of the map, and this game's going to end all of a sudden. Although we could just see it end right here at this Baron. Or not Baron, this Dragon.
If you're Mountain, you never give this up, right? You always have to fight this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The one nice thing is they do have TP up on Cop and Delta. So if they can push in for some deep wards, they can try for something. But Colonel Paco, once again, sitting in this pixel bush, looking to be aggressive. And I like the adaptation from Mountain. They know this is where they sat last time, and were able to pick off the Karthus and Brand, so they're coming in from a different direction.
Still funneling in.
There's a lot of posturing going around. Minion waves are set up for Mountain, though, so those will eventually push into the inhibitor turrets.
Cop's the one to watch right now.
A lot of posturing. Colonel Paco as well, looking over this wall. Naifu and Timberland are standing so far away.
That's good. The Karthus ult should be up now.
Yeah, minion waves getting really, really big in the bot lane and mid lane.
Yeah, Air has to do something. Right, they're giving up that pressure. I guess they have the mid pressure, but
Colonel Paco going in, finds the Karthus, good ultimate, and he's blown up once again. Now, on the backside thing, the Jhin is dead, but the Karthus is still useful going in. We have a big team fight for Mountain, but Mumu is still alive, going down. 3 dead for the side of Air. We have Ramos just chasing him down. VB Zobs trying to jump away. Hayam Hippie still alive as well. Danny doing what she can. Gets the Ignite down, but Dutch Clutch going super low. One more will do it. Oh, VB Zobs able to be taken out. Dutch Clutch living as well. And now Annie turning it around, actually. Has one more Q onto Cup, able to take him out. The shield is up, but Dutch Clutch able to roll in and pick up the ace. And again, such a close fight. On the edge of a knife right there. Oh my God. And Dutch Clutch rolling over to the Infernal Drake, trying to take it up. 8 seconds onto Rise of Dust, 4 on Shen. He's probably going to be able to solo this. And the mini wave's doing so much work. Might actually be able to take this inhibitor. A couple more will do it. Range minis. Oh no, they went for the Shen. Got trolled. Alright, but they still get the Infernal Drake, and it puts them on Infernal Soul as well. This is this is a close one.
That feels like an understatement.
We see the biggest gold lead we've seen in this game so far. 4K gold for the side of Mountain.
Yeah, but we're getting
38
to that point
minutes.
in the game where the gold lead isn't actually like super relevant. You know, the item spikes or the amount of items on each side are fairly even. And especially like if Air Drake say is able to get the Infernal Soul, that gold lead doesn't actually matter anymore, right? Like, if assuming that that gap stays the same after taking Soul.
Yeah, it's fair. But yeah, like you said, 3k gold at 40 minutes means absolutely nothing. And they're looking for VB's ops? Maybe? Nope, never mind.
Yeah, I
Just
wonder
gonna be
at what point-
posturing.
I wonder at what point Air has to look at targeting the Karthus first and decide if that's really where they need to be going, because what keeps happening in these fights, right, is the Karthus gets popped and he doesn't get to dish out that continuous Q damage, but he still gets to ult and still has like some that he can pile in on, especially if the Amumu is going into the back line and other people are having to follow up on that, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe switching over and I don't know if they see Delta coming in, like trying to pick him off. Him having Zhonya's makes that a little sketchy, but the Brand, I don't know. The Karthus is really kind of breaking what Air would want to do as far as how these fights are playing out.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of laps, but to your point, I don't think you can ever leave the Karthus up. You know?
Yeah.
If the Karthus is alive, he's going to be putting out so much damage in fights, and then when you kill him, he's still going to be putting out damage. So if you're Colonel Paco and you see the Karthus and you can one-shot him, you just have to do it.
Yeah, and then immediately disengage.
Yeah, but the issue is the disengage isn't really happening because Delta is finding that flank in the backside of the fight, along with Cop.
That's the thing. Cop is able to buy that time
Right.
by keeping. We saw in that last fight around Dragon, right? Cop immediately ulted the Jhin, and that bought enough time for Delta to get up there.
But Baron, the third Baron of the game is spawning. We see posturing around it. Everyone is set up. Jhin looking to stand really, really far back. Malphite onto one though, but Colonel Paco in the backline. Look for the Brand. Gonna be taunted up. He's going down. And we have the Kennen on the backside going for Jhin. He's able to take him out. Karthus ult is coming up. Rise of Dust barely staying alive. Rob is chasing him down.
Oh,
That is 4 dead for Mountain. The only one alive is Dutch Clutch. And that was such a good fight for Air.
Yeah, we see there, right? Paco went for the Brand first off instead, and it made it a true 4v5.
Yeah, and I mean, the Brand damage didn't get to go off, and maybe that was the turning point. But it also feel like Mountain really focused on trying to kill the Jhin, where, I mean, the Jin's not the main point of damage, right? You just need to protect your carries, not run after theirs.
That's kind of the problem, right? Is when you look at Air's comp and identify who needs to die, the Jhin does have damage, but as you were just saying, right, he's not going to be dishing out huge consistent amounts of damage. The anti-damage is pretty much all front-loaded. She can get that off and then immediately die and still be relevant in that team fight. To continue beating the dead horse, right? The tank Amumu is popping the backline carries by himself.
That is fair. But we have 42 minutes, even gold, 500 between the two teams, which is absolutely crazy. This is the longest game I've seen on this patch so far, even in solo queue and on Twitch streams. And we have Delta going in, looking for Annie. Hippie turns around though, Malphite is going down, and that is a bad fight. Kennen getting absolutely blasted. Brand on the trying to do whatever he can, but Malphite going low. They get CLG Worthy Dust, but Mumu is here as well. The Karthus gets absolutely popped. He's going down. And now we have Amumu just doing Amumu things, looking for Dutch Clutch, gets rooted up, spinning in place. Rise of Dust running him down, gets the shutdown, and that is 4 dead for Mountain once again on a fight. They engaged. The Baron buff is up for the side of Air, and they are pushing down these turrets, looking to stay alive in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's got to be GG, right? Having
Yeah.
Infernal Soul.
He's not even Infernal Soul. You have 20-second death timer on Delta. And the only one alive is a Brand against Baron minions.
Although I guess their objective take is kind of slow, having a Jhin.
You don't need the objectives. Yeah, I mean, the turrets are already dead.
mean,
Minions are
turret.
doing it. Timberland's gonna go down. This is gonna be the game. Air Drake Staying alive after a 43-minute game. Rise at Dusk coming in with 1 minute to spare on the timer. It's just, what a crazy game.
Yeah, really well played by both.
Yeah, that was so intense. And if we check out the damage graphs real quick, we see the Karthus and Kennen doing about Karthus doing 40k, Kennen doing 30k. Amumu being top damage in the game, 42,000 damage.
Almost 43.
That is insane. I do have one prediction for the next series, which we're not going to do interviews after this. I know it feels bad, but we're already a half hour behind the schedule. But my one prediction for the Infernal versus Gromp series is we're going to see a lot more Amumu bans.
Yes. Please do. You're inting if you don't.
All right. Well, with that, I'm sorry, Air, but again, we waited a half hour for the game, so no interviews today. And we're going to be sending it over to Gromp versus Infernal pretty shortly. Stay tuned. Thank you again, Crack Variety, for joining me on this cast. It was a pleasure having you.
Always a pleasure to cast with you, my friend.
Hell yeah. And thank you, Twitch chat. Please stay tuned for the next games. And Mountain, you put up a really good fight in that game, and we were proud to watch you. Just good luck next season, and we're proud to have you in the Rec League. Thank you very much, and to everyone, enjoy the rest of the